Hello, welcome to JIBRIN ANGLE on Oweleketv. Once again, my name is JIBRIN, and I have with me today our regular guest, regular and special guest. His name is Barrister Austin Manta. He is the principal partner of AA Manta and Co., situated in Kaduna, operates also from Abuja as well. He is a political analyst and a legal analyst. And a legal analyst that has a lawyer that has a very, very long years of experience, that is almost 4 decades right now. And so his judgments, his legal analysis and interpretations of the law are something that you don't want to miss. He is a conservative lawyer who interprets the law and the Constitution as the spirit of the Constitution stipulates. So once again, Barrister Austin Manta, thank you for joining us on this show again.
Thank you very much.
Yes, today we shall actually be basically talking about reviewing and talking about the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, the speech the international speech he gave earlier this week. So we shall be talking about that and the interview that his running mate, Datti Ahmed, gave on Arise TV. Then we shall be talking about also talking on the business angle. We shall be talking about Dangote's monopoly of importation. So viewers, these are the points we shall be hitting on, and some other issues, topic that may come in if the time permits us. So Barrister, once again, welcome to this show. And all you viewers, if this is the first time you are watching this, this is on this angle. We talk about politics, we talk about current affairs, we talk about legal matters, and above all, we talk about the gospel, the Christian gospel. So, and that's what we do here. We say it the way it is. We give you all the informations that are open to us, and we are not diplomatic here. We just say it the way it is and give our personal opinion, make our commentaries the way it should be. Once again, thank you for joining us. This is if you have been a regular listener of our contents or regular member of this channel, we appreciate your encouragement. We appreciate your time. Please, whatever you have, when you watch our clip, whatever message you have, your disagreements, your concurrence, whatever if you concur to anything or you disagree to anything, please let us know on the message tab. Send us a message. We will always respond to your messages. If you have any input you need to make, you want to make, go ahead. We can always listen to you. Thank you so very much for everyone that is making this program a success. So back to Barrister Manta. Barrister, let's start with the Dangote issue. This over the years, probably from Obasanjo regime, since the dispensation of democracy in Nigeria, beginning with Obasanjo's regime, Dangote has been monopolizing excuse me, it's not even monopolizing anymore. It's not even in the process. He has established that monopoly. He has monopolized importation all to himself. I remember when he had this issue with Ibeto cement and other stuff or whatever. So this is the same importation of rice, sugar, cement, and other stuff, all those essential commodities. The man seemed to be almost the sole importer of all those essential commodities, the commodities that Nigerians that they use on daily basis. So what can you tell us about this and the implication?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Jibrin. As you rightly observed, this phenomena started at about the time of the return to the current civil regime, specifically with the regime of President Obasanjo, where by default or by acts of commission or omission, the atmosphere was created whereby Dangote emerged as a monopoly, so to speak. It would appear that the government deliberately set out to create the environment whereby his competitors will be pushed to the background and he will come to the front and then eventually become a monopoly, not just of one item, but of essentially most household items that ordinary people use. Is it salt? Is it sugar? Cement? Name it. He came to have a monopoly of this importation, distribution, and sales of these vital items. But one of the biggest issue or item was the issue of cement. As you mentioned, Ibeto cement then. Ibeto was one of his greatest competitors or challengers, so to speak, at that time. But like I say, by acts of omission or commission, whether deliberate or otherwise, Ibeto business was suppressed and his cement business virtually collapsed, handing the monopoly to Dangote. And now this monopoly, why it affects the economy in certain ways. I don't know what happened, but apparently somebody sold the idea to Obasanjo or the leadership then that it is necessary for Nigeria to have their own billionaires to compete with billionaires from the other parts of the world. So they went all out to ensure this behemoth that became Dangote. If you look back right to the time of Obasanjo and afterwards, Dangote is a contributor to every major political party in Nigeria. Be it at that time the PDP or what you call the opposition party then. In the nature of a businessman, he used to make generous contributions to each of the parties. Now, there were allegations that if you see Dangote donate a sum of 1 or 2 billion to a party like the PDP, immediately thereafter, or maybe a week thereafter, you will see a consequential rise in the price of cement.
Wow.
To compensate for the donation.
Yeah, donation. Wow.
For the donation.
So either way, it doesn't lose anything.
Exactly. You give with one hand and take with the other hand. My so God. You see the effect of a monopoly. When somebody has a monopoly over a product, it does no good to the economy. There should be competition. The competition drives down the price. The competition ensures quality. The competitions ensure continuous improvement of products. But where there is a monopoly, you will not appreciate a better product of the same genre because there's a monopoly. So that affects the economy. It also affects, it has a trickle-down effect, because if 10 or 5 to 10 people are dealing in cement, the measure of employment that these 5 or 10 people will do cannot be the same with a monopoly. The prices in terms of monopoly are fixed by one person or one entity. And according to the vagaries of the economies, they can go up and hardly come down anytime you see some development. So you see that they can juggle one way or another. They can go to the social scene, donate to a school, donate to a university, donate to a religious institutions, and do that. But you can bet your life that they will compensate by an increase in the price of the product. So they end up not losing anything. They end up always being on the rise. Monopoly is not good for any economy. Any economist will tell you the economy needs competition, because that competition drives the quality of products. It drives the prices of products down because there's available, and it drives choice. People are able to make choice for themselves instead of being forced a particular product being forced down their throat. So that issue, even though now we can see Boa cement coming up, but Ibeto has never been able to really come up again since the debacle that he had from the time of Obasanjo's government. He has not been able to pick up the pieces of his cement business. So to a large extent, with Dangote still maintains the monopoly of cement. The Boa cement is coming up, but we have not seen their effect in the economy, and the cement business remains marginal. So these things should be looked at. In Nigeria, every business of that magnitude is connected to the government one way or another. In concessions that the government makes are several funds, whether from imports of machinery, imports of duties and other things. They receive concessionary rates. So we don't need these monopolies. They hamstring the economy and make things worse at the expense or for the benefit of just one person. Yes.
Honestly, me, I consider monopoly to be evil, selfish, self-centered, self-seeking. In the first place, how on earth will someone be referred to as the richest, the wealthiest man in Africa? There is no justification to that, in the sense that you didn't give, there is no level playing field to every businessman in the same field as his. So honestly, I don't consider him the richest man. The economic environment is rigged, and it was rigged all in his favor. In fact, it doesn't make sense to me. You cannot be referred to as a businessman when your ways, the way you, for God's sake, give me such opportunity. Give me such opportunity and give me the monopoly of importation. Do you know what it means to have monopoly? The monopoly to import essential items that Nigerians use on daily basis, especially from the low level of society up to the top level, everybody uses it, whatever. They do use these items on daily basis. And now you have someone with the monopoly to import all these items. What do you expect? If that person ends up not being the richest man in Africa, then there is a problem. There's a problem with his life. If you give me such opportunity, I'll also become the richest man. So that is crazy. It is wicked. Why would someone, for God's sake, from Obasanjo, for God's, all the successive governments have played to the gallery, which is very, very insensitive, very selfish for all the government that have passed by to do the same thing, and up to this present government. Of course, I don't expect less from this present government, because there's, in my own judgment, that there can never be, I don't think, not there can never be, okay, we don't know the future, but for right now, Tinubu is the worst president, as far as I'm concerned. The worst president we can ever have. We have not even gone anywhere, but we've seen all the signs that it is all about coming to just share the loot, the resources, excuse me, exploit the resources of this country. And that's just what they intend to do. And this country will, unfortunately, get worse. So back to Dangote's issue. The truth is, the idea, as you said earlier, that was sold to Obasanjo. Honestly, I was shocked, because Obasanjo, I consider him a very intelligent, very smart man. Yeah, he had his own weaknesses when he was the president, the democratic president. However, even at that, he took some very, very strong decisions, made some strides in the system then, and he was a very strong leader. I consider him a very, very strong leader. That if he had been forthcoming, if he had been let me say, good for, or had been purposeful with leadership. Obasanjo had the tenacity, the guts. He had the strength, the courage, actually, to right the wrong, to make Nigeria much better than what it was and what it is today. Unfortunately, he lost that. He tried in some areas, but generally, honestly, his virtues, his leadership virtues, was not applied properly. That is just it. And back to this Dangote stuff. Now, it was for this such kind of, that idea to me was nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. Why would you say, okay, we want, for the purpose of having a good competition with the Western world, Western billionaires, let us just monopolize, allow one person to do this so that we can have that. That's nonsensical. And what made them believe or think that giving everybody an open, enabling environment, an environment for everybody to compete at the same time, what made them believe that everybody who couldn't have had even bigger, much bigger billionaires than we have today? It's sort of. So what are we talking about? Look at the US. You know, in fact, we can't even count. We've lost count of billionaires in the US. Billionaires are just like those days we used to mention millionaires. It's so common. We have billionaires scattered all over the US. Why? Because there is a level playing ground. The environment, the economic environment, the business environment is open for everyone. So it is just about the survival of the fittest. Go into the field, join the survival race, and if you are strong enough, you will come on top. That's exactly that's the policy. That's the economic policy of the United States of America. Why will Nigeria toe the line of communism? As far as I'm concerned, that's a communist policy where you just monopolize everything. You just put everything in the hands of very, very few, either one person or very few individuals that belongs to the elite class. So that is just the point. And who on earth, trust me, give such opportunity to some other people, especially the Igbo guys who are really known for business? And you think they couldn't have been even richer than what's his name, Dangote today? Of course they could have, because that's the way, that's what God created them to do, business. They could have made it even much more than Dangote. I think now it's about $20-something billion worth. I don't know. I think he reduced that some times ago. We were told that he lost some money or whatever, sort of. And who told these guys with such myopic, nonsensical idea that we couldn't have had another businessman who could have been richer than Dangote, even in his $20-something billion worth of wealth? So that is the point. This is crazy. It is wickedness.
You see, the other issue, you know where that comes from? The idea that apparently Obasanjo bought into is that the economy should be driven by the private sector. And in order for the private sector to be active, you must have a couple of billionaires that have ample capital to invest and drive the economy. The problem with that and the difference between our own billionaires and elsewhere, I don't mind somebody being the richest person if he adds true value to the economy. You know, there is a difference between buying and selling. Yes, and there's a difference between invention and production. So if the buying and selling, it adds value, but not true and real value to the economy. Because most of the things you are buying, you are not producing. You are buying from somewhere. Yeah. And that is just selling. That's the point. But if you are producing, now most billionaires in America, if you see people like Elon Musk, look at what the product that they invented and they pushed, which the satellite, this thing that he invented, he sent satellite into space as a private person, and the whole world can benefit from the, even now, is, you know, it's in Nigeria, just that the price is a bit too high for the average Nigerian. Their own services are far superior to the current telecom services we have in Nigeria. Now, that is evidence of somebody sitting down, thinking, developing a product and selling to the whole world. Now, when you reach that level and become a billionaire, we can only applaud you.
That is it.
We can only be happy.
Yes, sir.
And it adds true value.
That is it.
True and real value to the economy. As against you place order in US and buy products. Look at Toyota. Look at Toyota Hilux and Toyota products in Nigeria. In the whole of Africa, Nigeria is the largest consumer of Toyota Hilux and Toyota vehicles. And we have about 5 dealers who are billionaires in Nigeria. And what do? All they do is they get Toyota of Japan to send them vehicles in Nigeria, and they sell to government. In a year, the government can buy over 500 pieces of Hilux and other vehicles. We are not producing them here. We are not even assembling them.
We are not even assembling. That's it.
The person who is there using his computer and phone to order this product from Japan, and you reach a stage where once the market is there, even the manufacturer can give you this products on credit.
Yeah.
You don't even need to put money down. Since there's assurance that you'll be paid and you can remit his money, he will send the goods to you. So those kind of people, they are not offering real value to the economy. They are only exploiting the economy, that is it, so to speak. And that is why we have contradictions in foreign exchange in Nigeria, because we are constantly looking for foreign exchange.
Yes.
And when we buy and sell this goods, the monies are repatriated to the manufacturers in foreign exchange. So that type of wealth, why it is there, why I would not begrudge them, still, we must recognize that for a developing country, we need more than that. We need people that will actually become billionaires from producing, inventing, starting a product and selling it in Nigeria and the rest of the world.
Yes, sir.
That is the kind of billionaires that we should be happy for. We should appreciate. And look at it. In the US, for instance, there's elaborate antitrust laws that affect monopolies. A monopoly can be broken down by the court. They can take a monopoly to court and it can be broken down because of breach of antitrust
yes, you're right.
Legislation. We don't have adequate
laws,
legislation and systems in Nigeria to take care of that. So everything goes. Everything goes. You are able to use the politics of the country and create a pathway for you alone to buy and sell a particular product. Overnight, you become a billionaire. And then you use that money to maintain your status quo with every succeeding government. So this is the kind of paradox that we have. So when people are saying social person is a billionaire, look down and see what product is he offering.
Yeah.
And what is the real benefit and value to the economy of Nigeria that the person is putting up.
Yeah, that is the point. You've said it all. That is just it. That's my problem. That's what I keep asking. So, this man, you're the richest man in Africa. What is it? At what value? At what expense? At whose expense? That is the point. So if you were baby fed, you were born on a platter of gold, and they handed you a gold after giving birth to you on a platter of gold and handed gold to you. Why won't you succeed? If you don't succeed, it means you are a fool, you are dumb and foolish. That's just the truth. So nobody will not succeed. No sane or right thinking person, human being, will not be Africa's richest man when placed under the same pedestal, under the same platform as Dangote. That is just the truth. And just like you said, what value? He's not adding value to the Nigerian nation. Because no inventions, no innovations, no creativity from him. Just like you pointed that of Elon Musk. There's nothing. He's more of into importation than, I think manufacturing is just, I think about 10-20% or whatever. I think he just started going into manufacturing recently. So it's about trading. All his life he's been trading, buying and selling. And that is just it. And that is what, just like you said, noted earlier, that is what is driving this issue of the depreciation of Naira by the day. The depreciation of Naira every day is just going down and down and down and down, just depreciating. That's the point. Why won't it? Exportation has become a different thing. That's the point, or whatever. It's affecting everyone. We can't expect. I'm an exporter. We're into exportation business as well. We cannot. The exportation it's affecting us as well, because the exchange rate is dealing with us badly, and so that is the point. And unfortunately, I don't know. Nigeria is just the system is just rigged. Most systems of the world are rigged. There's no doubt rigged against the poor, the masses. But in the Nigerian case, it's overwhelming. It is overwhelmingly rigged against us, rigged against everyone down there. So that is the unfortunate thing. Anyway, we'll move away from that. Barrister will move to politics. I don't know if you watched Peter Obi's speech. What is your own takeaway from that?
Well, as you know, after the judgment of the Supreme Court, a lot of people were waiting to hear the response of the principal actors. Atiku Abubakar gave his own press conference and the attention and focus shifted to hear what Peter Obi will say. So the press conference, the World Press Conference that he delivered was eagerly awaited by everybody, including members of the obedient movement, as a sort of direction or way forward. They wanted to hear what next. And the speech altogether, for me, it was measured, it was focused, it was direct, but it was also defiant, because he did not, within the context of the structures of Nigeria, he did not cave in, he did not surrender, he did not accept the status quo or the position that he was placed into, or the country has been placed into. So he, while acknowledging that the Supreme Court being the final court, there was no other legal pathway to pursue his grievances, he also did not agree with the judgment, which is his right. It's the right of everybody to criticize the judgment of a court. So he criticized the judgment of the Supreme Court on key points. They ignored the provisions of the Constitution as to qualifications and responsibilities for contesting offices, and in particular, the highest office in the land. They allowed technicalities to dominate the judicial process at the expense of the constitutional prescription and constitutional order that we should all put at the top of the ladder. Having said that, he nevertheless reassured his supporters and the obedient movement and other people, or other well-meaning Nigerians, that the revolution that the obedient movement brought was only suspended. It was not stopped, and it will continue. So there is hope that he is not going away. The fight has just begun, as some people will say. So the speech to me was well received, it was well delivered, and it was well prepared. And I did not expect anything more than that or less from him.
Anyway, the truth is, me, I have a little bit different opinion from yours. Look, Nigeria, look, politics is not meant for gentle people. It's not meant for gentlemen and women. Look, I understand Peter Obi's dispositions, his nature, his character. I understand all that. But the truth is, the kind of Peter Obi is not the kind of, the person of Peter Obi is not his person is okay, but his modus operandi, it's not going to wrest power from the powers that be. The powers that be, the establishment, the corrupt, the stinkingly corrupt establishment, they are fierce, they are aggressive, they are dominating. They are everything negative you can think about. They are ruthless. Look, they say when you are in Rome, you just have to behave like a Roman. I always have the opinion that a true believer, a true Christian cannot succeed as a politician. Hence, I am totally against any believer who wants to go into politics. Because, Look, when it comes to power, dirty things happens with power, goes with power. And when you get up there, it's a different ball game entirely. So if anyone who plays it right, who wants to be a saint in a very dirty environment, you just have to. I remember in the book of Acts, there is I'm trying to remember now, in the book of Acts, where Apostle Paul was in an environment where he had to pretend. He was a believer, an apostle. Well, I'm trying to remember that story and that line, but I can't remember exactly, but I think I have to make it. But the thing is, at that point, he pretended to be just like the Jews. He pretended, I think, to toe along their doctrines or whatever, just to be able to gain entrance, to gain access to the hearts of people. And that is just it. Because he realized that, okay, this is the proverbial, if you're in Rome, you have to behave like a Roman. He knew at that point, if he had been open, so, okay, this is who I am, they would have stoned him, and that was his expectation. They could have stoned him. But he first of all pretended, covered up his true identity, spiritual identity, for him to have an inroad into their hearts, into their lives, into the populace, the audience, for them to be able to give him audience. And he was able to achieve that. He pretended, and they gave, I think I'm remembering the verse now. He pretended and eventually got them to listen to him. And after that, the power of God came upon everyone because they had to listen to him. But how did he do that? He got into their hearts in a subtle way. He was wise, he was smart. And that is the way it is with Nigerian system. The Nigerian system is so ruthless now that you cannot sense your way through the system. No, you can't holy your way. You can't righteous your way through the. Look, you just have to be. I'm not expecting you to go killing or whatever. No, but I expect you to yes, when it comes to measuring your words, I understand that, but I expect that kind of fire. Just like I always try to take Donald Trump as an instance. This is a man that everyone is throwing arrows. The powers that be are throwing all manner of arrows at him, bullets at him. And he kept firing back. He kept firing back. Why is it? And the more he fires back, the more he goes. Look, nobody will be this indicted. No leader will be this indicted with about 90-something count charges against him, yet be rising so astronomically at the polls. Nobody does that. This man is doing what he is rising so much because he's fighting back. Now, what I expect from Peter Obi is to fight back, not with weapons, physical weapons or whatever. No, it's to fight back. You have to imbibe the spirit of fighting back. You have to have that fighting spirit to be able to. Nigeria, look, let me be frank with you. I read, when I watched it or whatever, I was recommending some ways to go on how to talk about restructuring and so. It will never happen. It will never happen. He's coming back. He's 62. I think 62 this year. What else? Let him go and sit down. I love him so much. I love his policies. I love his governance. I love his disciplines. I love everything about that man. I love his leadership skills. I love his leadership IQ. I love him so much. However, the kind of spirit he doesn't have fighting spirit. We need someone that is this charismatic, that has fighting spirit. And that is the kind of spirit Nigeria needs to be able to wrest power. Look, these powers that be, we have to wrest power away from them. You can't just take the power. They won't give it out. They won't give it out willingly. They will fight for it. And they will do that fiercely and ruthlessly. They will kill and maim for that. So what do? You just mount the podium and begin to preach Genesis to Revelation, from Genesis to Revelation, preach about peace and whatever. Look, the Bible says there is a time and season for everything. A time to seek peace, a time to be ruthless, a time to fight, a time for peace, a time for war. There is time and season for everything. Nigeria at this point, we are at the point of not the time to seek peace. It's a time to fight. And fight in your mind, fight in your spirit. Fight. That is the point. Look, that speech, we have had speeches. Speeches doesn't solve any problem. We've had speeches from the Western world. People come, say wonderful speech, and they go to the polls and they say, this person scored 80% on the speech. It was well received. It was nonsense. What has these speeches brought to our tables? What benefit has these speeches brought to Nigeria as a nation? Nothing. Nothing. What we need is action. We need that fire. We need that person. If you have that kind of quality that Obi has, we need one thing more to add to those qualities. That is the fighting spirit. Aggression. We need aggression. Donald Trump is doing it. He succeeded based on that in the first place, as the first, when he was for the fifth president. And he will succeed again, in my own judgment, because he has that fighting spirit, because the environment is fierce. And he too has to be, he has to be fierce. And he is succeeding. Do you know what it means for somebody for a government, the entire government apparatus to beam their searchlight, their weight on one individual, yet for so many years they've not been able to pull him down? It takes God. Secondly, it takes courage from that person. It takes immense courage and strength, resilience, tenacity for such a person to withstand the entire weight. Do you know what it means to withstand the weight of government, especially the United States government? And that is what I expect of Obi. Obi came, look, let me tell you one thing. This issue of next time, this revolution, honestly, he missed it. They say opportunity comes once in lifetime. Opportunity comes once. Now, but this kind of opportunity, in my own judgment and opinion, it is a lifetime opportunity. Obi missed it. And not just Obi, we Nigerians missed that opportunity. We were supposed to help, but honestly, but we made a mistake. When we could have had an uprising was when INEC declared this result at night. I expected the next morning that everybody woke up to the result. Next morning, I expected people to take to the streets in massive protests. That was the right time for us to do that. And we allowed this to go through the courts and whatever. I knew everybody expected, we knew quite well what would come from the courts. Sort of nothing good could ever come from the courts. And so that is just it. And that brings me back to Peter Obi's running mate, Datti Baba Ahmed. Now, Baba Ahmed, I've always loved him. I've always admired him from during the Obasanjo time when he went to the House of Rep. That was when that guy really captured my heart. I've always loved him. He has always been an inspiration to me. And that is just it. I wish Peter Obi has that kind of, you see, Baba Ahmed, his kind of spirit is what we need. Unfortunately, I wish they have switched position with Peter Obi. The kind of spirit, the energetic and fighting spirit that Datti Baba Ahmed has is exactly what we need in the Nigerian environment right now. I bet you, if he had been the front runner of that election, I bet you Nigeria could have been a different ball game now. And the both of them are good. He equally has a kind of principles, that principles and moral principles, that are economic principles that Obi has. I think these two are a good pair. But I wish I wish Peter Obi imbibed the spirit of Datti Ahmed to fight this. That could have been better. We need person like Datti Baba Ahmed. That's just it. Go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Let me say that it would appear that you are overly too harsh on Peter Obi. Both of them, both Peter Obi and Datti Ahmed, have decided to participate and fight within the system. And when I was making my comment, I said his speech is within the structures and parameters that are available in Nigeria. You either approach the issue from within the system or you fight it from outside the system. And don't forget, Peter Obi was more or less a child of circumstance. His emergence within a short period took the nation by storm. The foundation and the basis that will drive the movement, that will drive and make that revolution, not a violent one, a silent and peaceful revolution to take over Nigeria, could not have been done or laid within the short time frame that he emerged. Remember, he was the VP of Atiku Abubakar in the previous election, and he only stepped out of the PDP to contest when it became apparent that the PDP were not going to have any fidelity to their own constitution and zone or support the Southeast to have the presidential candidate. He stepped out, and he's stepping out, and the emergence of the obedient movement took the whole country by storm. It has never been that Nigeria has a tripartite party system. It has always been a two-party, two dominant party. But with his emergence, his party threatened the existing political order that is in Nigeria. He may not have won, but I do not think that he lost entirely. And I support the fact that, yes, we didn't win the presidency in the courts. The judiciary did not listen to us, but we are not going away. We are just trying to, or we are only starting. The revolution was cut short, postponed, but it is still going ahead. We are going ahead with it, and we'll prepare ourselves for the future. After coming that far, there is an imperative to take stock and reflect. If you see, a tree cannot make a forest. Remember, within his own party that he adopted, he did not form the Labour Party. He had to get a platform. And look at what they did. Look at the sponsorship of the tractors that were sponsored within his own movement, within the Labour Party, in which he had a platform. So it is right for him to take a step back, reflect on the journey so far, and calibrate for the future struggle. It is not wrong. His own structures were not very stable by themselves. They were not very firm on the ground by themselves. So I think he is right to step back, reflect, and prepare for the coming struggle. Now, if you decide to fight within the system, it is not a one-day struggle, because you are going to mobilize, you are going to sensitize the majority of your countrymen. This cannot be a one-day matter. On the other hand, if you bring a violent revolution, you can just start doing the violence. That can bring change almost immediately. But as long as you want to act within the system, you want to bring about a peaceful change, you must be patient, you must mobilize, and you must sensitize the people, put your views across, and win more by peaceful means than by violence. So I really do not see anything wrong with him, with the statement he made. He's not going away. He said the revolution is there, they only lost in the court, but they are not going away. And he's also providing some solutions within the structure that we have. The 5-year tenure he prescribed for the president, all within the structure that we have as of today. That's okay. And he said the Labour Party, the obedient movement, will act as an opposition to the ruling party, or is within the present situation that you find yourself. On the other hand, any other track that he wants to follow will be outside the law and outside the system. That would be something different altogether. So it is a clash, like me and you continuously argue on how we are going to change Nigeria. And you will insist on immediate and even violent action. That can bring an immediate solution. But once you have decided that no, you are not going to use violence, then you have to be patient. That is going to take time. You have to do a lot of homework before victory will be achieved.
Now, let me remind you something. Yes, that yeah, you are right. Just like it's pointed out, Peter Obi's emergence, this revolution wasn't expected. Even he himself, it threw him off balance. He didn't expect that. But one thing I should remind you of, which of course you know that we've talked about revolutions, the French Revolution and other revolutions. Where I remember in the office some years back where we talked about all these revolutions in the world. None of these revolutions happened planned. No one was actually planned. Revolutions are usually successful. Revolutions are organic. They were organic, they were original and organic, they were spontaneous. Nobody saw it coming. Look, because if someone sees it coming, if anybody sees it coming, they will avert it. The powers that be will avert it. That was what happened in the case of Peter Obi. Nobody, not even the Peter Obi.
Let me cut you short and disagree and point out.
Yes.
If you look at the French Revolution, that is the one that was called the mob. It was done by the mob. It was spontaneous. There was no organization behind it.
Yes.
And when the mob overthrew the ruling aristocracy, they did not know what to do with the power because there was no structure behind it. There was no organization. It was simply people pouring out into the street, being tired of the system, being tired of those who rule them, burning everywhere, killing, and then declaring themselves. But then the consequences were that they didn't know how to go forward because there was no structure behind it. There was no organization behind it. So that one too collapsed. The mob took over, but having taken over, they didn't know what to do. And that revolution collapsed. Now, remember in Russia, the Bolsheviks that turned out to be communists, they had been planning for long. The leaders were not even in Russia. They were organizing, planning, sensitizing the people. At the right time, when they felt the time had come, the leaders came from Switzerland and other areas where they were residing into Russia to lead the revolution. And that's how the communist revolution in Russia came about. If you look at what happened in Iran when the Shah was in power, and the Ayatollah and the Muslims, the Ayatollah took refuge in Paris. And it was in France that he had been organizing the revolution back home in Iran. for a long time. At the point that the Shah was overthrown and was forced to flee, he had to come back to lead the revolution. Because if you leave it to the mob, it is not going anywhere. All the gains that you would have done by removing the people will be aborted.
No,
instantaneously.
No, you got it all wrong. I didn't say revolution. Look, what are we talking about? We're talking about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is not somebody. The mob, we're talking about mob going on the streets. If anything, the revolution, if it had taken place, if it took place during the election or after when INEC chairman announced that evil result, we had people. If a revolution had taken place at that point, of course we have people who will lead at the end of the revolution. Peter Obi could have been there. Even Atiku himself could have been there. We have leaders at the forefront of but except for Tinubu. At that point, nobody wanted Tinubu. And that's just because we knew quite right it was rigged. It was even rigged again. All was rigged again. Everybody knew quite right that that election was won by Peter Obi. Not even Atiku. They said he took third. They deliberately gave him third position. It was a deliberate attempt to actually put him at the, because they knew quite right he was the most popular among them, and nobody was. So if they put him at the third, they thought when he put him at the third position that there will be no protests. So they decided to give Atiku the second position. But we want that, whatever. So what I'm saying is this. Now, Nigeria's situation is completely different from what you just mentioned, that of Russia, French, okay, that the mob actually started it, but it got to a point that they couldn't succeed because nobody to hand over. That's a different, look, every environment, every climate has its own dynamics. They have all its peculiar dynamics. Just as we have in Nigeria, our own dynamics are different from what you can find in Russia or Iran or France. So that is the point. In our own situation, that time, the time this thing could have happened was a ripe time, because at that time, if we had done it, we have people that we can, at the end of the day, if it succeeded, okay, we have people that we can say, okay, lead us through this transition moment. That is the point. Now, let me be frank with you. That thing, that opportunity, may God keep us alive. I'll still bring it to your notice. We will never get to that anymore. I'm telling you, 2007 election, that is if God permits us to even get to that point of another presidential election. I'm telling you, people will not come out to vote. We will have voter apathy. Massive one. Massive one. Let me be frank with you. People are disappointed that Peter Obi did not fight it. Okay, he fight it legally. And so what? There are ways legally you can actually bring out people on the street to protest. Why not? Why can't you protest on the street? Why can't you tell people to go out peacefully and protest? Why can't you say that? Why won't you? Is it against the law for you to call out people to say, okay, everyone should come out, protest. Let us occupy this place, occupy that place. Whatever you are doing, no violence, no weapons, come out, protest peacefully. If he did that, if he had done that, people would have honestly, even though it may later turn to whatever violence, but at least the law would have been on his side. He may have, at the end of the day, end up being arrested. And so what? He becomes a hero. If the moment they arrest him, it becomes even worse. The situation becomes worse. It becomes more popular. And it's just like what happened in the case of Obasanjo. Obasanjo eventually came out after being arrested by Obacha or whatever. Look, I don't know. Probably he felt he doesn't want to lose his business life, a comfortable life or whatever. Look, let me be frank with you. Freedom fighters, they live a very, 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 very uncomfortable life. And what I expected from Obi is to stand like as a freedom fighter for us. Honestly, he missed that opportunity. Nigeria will never get to that point again. We will never see him get to a situation where such opportunities don't come by easily. It will be very difficult for us to get to that point where people will be so enthusiastic, especially the youths, will be so enthusiastic as they were at the last presidential election polls. Honestly, it will be very difficult. And that's the problem we'll have. That is, if we get to that point in 2027, 2027, I am telling you, we will never get that enthusiasm anymore. We will never get that passion anymore. We will never get that energy, that kind of energy anymore. And that is just we just did not use the opportunity well. We didn't apply it, and the onus lies on Peter Obi, because he was our leader. We were waiting for him to say something, and that something is okay. We reject this, and we ask everyone, all my supporters, come out in protest, peaceful protest. Come out in peaceful protest. Let us occupy National Assembly, occupy INEC office, occupy the Asorok, or whatever. Whatever. That is the point. They will end up. That, in my own judgment, that could have been a trap for the powers that be. They will end up arresting him. Arresting what? That was done. What he did was not illegal. He asked for peaceful protest. They could have ended up arresting him. Arresting him would have even made him more popular. Would have turned him into a hero, and everybody will see that. And at the end of the day, it will lead to more and more protests. It will lead to more and more international organizations, international institutions, and governments intervening. It will be like this issue, this La Mandela's issue, even though it's not like that, but similar to something like that. And so that is the point. Look, all I wanted Obi to do, I love that man with passion. Anytime I hear him speak about Nigeria and the Nigerian situation, how to move the whole thing forward, I feel so inspired. I feel so hopeful. I feel so good. But my problem is he has what it takes to right the wrongs. But he does not have what it takes to snatch, to wrest power from, because I keep on saying that. Look, Nigeria as it is today, they can never relinquish power by willingly. They can never do that. They will not. They don't have the capacity to do that. They don't have the selflessness to do that. All they have is selfishness and self-seeking evil in the evil projections and evil dispositions in them. That's what they have. So, and what we need is someone that can actually connect, just like Obi. He connected with the masses. He connected with the majority of Nigerians, especially the youths. But he lost it. At that point, he would have used that weapon. He had that weapon to actually mobilize people to do the right thing. But people waited for him. We waited for him to lead. But what we got was just pouring cold water on the energetic system that wanted to actually do the right thing. That's the point. But if you have watched and listened to Datti Baba Ahmed, you will realize that Datti Baba Ahmed seemed to have my kind of disposition. He seemed to be in my way of opinion of how to actually do things. But because he's that kind of a person who respects his superior, he's that kind of person. He's a humble person. He won't sit that way, but he respects Peter Obi so well. He's very humble. He humbled himself to subordinate himself to his principal, which is okay. There's nothing wrong. I admire that. Even at that, I still admire him for that. But the truth is, Peter Obi needs a fighting spirit, just like Datti Baba Ahmed. That is just the truth. No matter what you tell me, no matter how you try to or whatever, it is just. I have told you this thing before, Barrister. That's nothing good. Nigeria can never get it right in a peaceful way. You and I, you should, even though you don't want to admit to that, I know inside of you, you believe the same way with me, that we will never, the powers that be will never allow the system to get to that point of relinquishing. They will not. They will keep recycling your. Is it not? Were you the one who reminded me? I didn't even know that Adam Soshomole contested for the Senate. That you brought it to my notice that Adam Soshomole is a senator. I think, can you imagine? After being corrupt as a Nigerian Labour Congress president, amassing a stupendous wealth to himself, He went to Edo State and became a governor, stole all the funds, all the resources of the government. Now he's back to the Senate as a senator, continue stealing. This is what has been going on. They are just handing baton to each other. You take, because be this, and you take again. You will give to A, the A will give to B will give to C, the C will come back again, give it back to A will give it back to B. That's exactly what they are, just recycling themselves. Eat and go and come back. Eat, go, come back. Eat, go, come back. That is exactly what they are doing to us. And you think these people will willingly. Look, let me tell you one thing. Bola Tinubu did it in 2023. In 2007, that is if God even allows it to get to that point, to 2007 election. Bola Tinubu, he did it and got away with it. What makes you think that he cannot even do worse? When he did it prepared. He didn't just do it prepared. He didn't prepare secretly. He prepared publicly. He publicly spit out fire and brimstone. He actually gave command to his foot soldiers to wrest power by force, snatch it, grab it, run with it. You don't know what he said? That was his phrase. So what are we talking about? There is nothing. He got away with this. He will get away with even worse. So we have to fight back with the same weapon they are fighting us. That is the point. Otherwise, Nigeria will continue this way. We will get worse. People will continue to die, even increasingly die of starvation and penury. That is the point. So, Barrister, honestly, you and I will continue to disagree on this. However, that is humanity. We always disagree on stuff. It is natural. But honestly, I wish Peter Obi was Datti Baba Ahmed. That is in the fighting spirit. I love his leadership skills. I love his economic skills. I love everything that is, everything about him. Everything, I love everything about him. Everything. But for this non-fighting spirit.
Let me add that in as much as I believe that Peter Obi has the right credentials to rule, I have made the point before on this program, and I told you that the biggest problem of the country now is the institutional regime we have, the system that we are operating. Assuming Peter Obi had won this election, I can bet you his abilities, his capacity, as much as we believe in it, will be whittled down by the system. Now, if you want to approach the problem of Nigeria, you have the choice to approach it within the system or outside of the system. Now, if you approach it within the system, you will be crippled by just what you are saying, that the establishment will not allow you. Now, if you accept to operate within the system, then you have to operate as the system demands. Except you approach it from outside. My view has always been that the problem is the system that we operate now is fraudulent. Whoever you give power to with the conditions and the system we have now will not go far with that power. Despite his best intentions, despite his best actions and initiatives, he will not go far. It will not achieve the kind of development the country wants, because you are one person. And within the system, within the legal regime in the country, you are not the only person with the power. The power is diffused through the courts. The power is diffused through the legislature. The power is diffused through the states and even the local government. There are a lot of things that you as president, you are not in charge of, or you cannot decide on. Other people, other agencies have to decide. So within the system that we have now, even the Peter Obi will just achieve marginal success.
Yes.
And we will not get to the promised land.
Yeah, I agree with you, but there is a caveat to that. Now, my agreeing with you is that, okay, you are right. But at the same time, there is a Peter Obi presidency could have made at least, if not significant change, at least would have moved us from one step to the next step forward, no matter what. Now, do you know what it means to be Nigeria's president? Of course, you know. You are a lawyer. You know the kind of power the Constitution arrogates to our president, Nigeria's president. Our president is our system of governance arrogates one of the most powerful, one of the strongest powers to the president of Nigeria. And that is just it. I can't think of any nation that has, apart from royalties, but real presidential system. I can't think of any nation that arrogates so much, that the Constitution arrogates so much power to the president as Nigeria. As a president, you can influence so many things and so many people. Obasanjo, again, I'll bring Obasanjo to the fore of this discussion again, because I actually liked him when he was there. My problem is that, do you know why I liked and I still like him? Why? Because his government was corrupt. There's no doubt about that. He misplaced some things. There's no doubt about that. He is not a saint. He has his own weaknesses. But there's something I admire about Obasanjo. And that is the kind of spirit that he has, the courage that he has, the strength, the mental, psychological strength that he has, the tenacity, the courage to actually take strong decisions on issues, no matter whose ox is God. He has that kind of spirit. And that's the kind of spirit we need as a leader for Nigeria to grow. Now, with this kind of person, with somebody like Obi, and you know, Obasanjo again, he tried to molded some people in line with his own policies and beliefs and ideas. He succeeded in doing that. He recruited, we knew quite all right who the people he recruited, the Okonjo-Iwealas, the Eze Kwesili them, the Erufai, even though Erufai took his own to the evil side, he recruited so many people to go in line, to fall in line with his policies. These people were not there. They were not there originally. Obasanjo searched for them, found them, appointed them, and used them. And that is why Obasanjo was actually looking for an extension of his term, because he just felt that, okay, he used 4 years, the first 4 years, to actually understand the system, to actually pinpoint his team, the right team, to actually search and point out, trace, and point out the right members of his team. He used 4 years to do that. That was when he found Obi-Baba Ahmed, Rufai, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and some other people I can't remember right now. And he wanted to, okay, the second time, he wanted to even expand on that. And he felt 8 years was too small for him to actually, but Obasanjo could have done, honestly, truly, even though I was against that issue of tenure elongation, I think if Obasanjo has elongated his tenure, he could have left it in a left the country better than the way he left it. I have my own gross against him. There's no doubt about that. But honestly, I love his fighting spirit. And that is, I love his smartness. I love his knowledge of how the system works and how to go about the system. I love his knowledge of who are the right people to use, the right squares, putting the right squares in the round squares, round pegs in round holes, and square pegs in square holes. He has that wisdom. And look, Obi could have done the same thing. Should he, if he had been the president today, Obi could have done the same thing. Line upon line, precept upon precept, one step at a time. He becomes the president first, then secondly, he will start to do what Obasanjo tried to do or did in his first 4 years. Try to get the right team together, bring in the right team, then try to, Obasanjo did that, he wielded his influence on the states. Go into the states, try to wield your influence as a powerful president on who becomes the governor, who becomes your whatever, who becomes your minister, who you appoint as minister or as minister at the federal level, who you nominate rather as a minister at the federal level. You will be influencing, as the president of the country, you will influence National Assembly members. You want little by little, it took us up about 60-something years to get to this trench, to this stench we found ourselves. So it's not going to be easy, just as you said. I agree with you, but having a very good president as Peter Obi at the helm of affairs, it could have been easier for us, not that simple, but at least take it one step, gradually, he will begin to buy people to his own, influence people into his own. What happened? What did he do in Anambra State? Let's even use, look, this man has done it before. Because the Bible says, he that is little, that is faithful in little, will be faithful in much. If you can like Jesus Christ said, we gave people different talents. One, he gave to one, he gave to the other one 3 and 2, he gave to the other one 5. And he came back, so okay, give account. And everybody gave account except one, the one that he gave one. And the one that he gave one couldn't perform or whatever, and was angry at Jesus Christ. Why did you give me one? You gave me some 5, you gave me 1, whatever. And because you gave me only one was not enough for me, I take your 1 back. And Jesus Christ said, look, and that person was cursed to eternal damnation. Why? Because he gave you 1. If you were not faithful, that person that could not succeed with 1 talent, you can't. If they gave you 1 talent, you did not do anything with it. If they had given you the 5 talents too, that same person couldn't have succeeded. And that is the point. Now, Peter Obi was a governor. What did he do as governor? Let us go to his record. He achieved what you just mentioned. Was Anambra State not corrupt? Anambra, at the point when Peter Obi became governor of Anambra State, Anambra was rated as at the topmost of the most difficult state to govern. I think not even topmost. It was the #1 most difficult. I think I remember the poll then. It was rated as the most difficult state to govern in Nigeria when Peter Obi became the governor. What did he do? Did he govern well? Did he not? Did he succeed? Of course, everybody knows the answer. He governed well. He succeeded. His policies, most of his policies were, what did he do? That's exactly, he would have applied the same principles if he had been the president, if they had allowed him, or that they've given him his mandate, his rightful mandate, he would have done the same thing. All he wanted to do is replicate what he did with 1 talent. He succeeded. He was given 1 talent in the name of Anambra State. And he succeeded and multiplied the profit with that talent. All he needed to do was to apply the same principles on Nigeria, on the Nigerian nation. Are you there, Barrister? It's like your video has frozen. Can you hear me? Yeah. I think this video froze. So, viewers, while we are still waiting for Barrister Manta to come back, that is the point. Obi did it in Anambra State. He could have done it in Nigeria as a nation. So that is it. While we are waiting for, let me see if Barrister Manta can rejoin us. Otherwise, we just, I think we have exhausted our topics. So I may be rounding up this program. Okay. All right. Thank you so very much, everyone. Thank you for if you have definitely got to this point, that means you possibly watched the entire clip. Well, I appreciate you for watching this clip up to this point. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your audience. And the entire team of Oweleketv appreciate you. Both our subscribers and non-subscribers, we appreciate everyone. If you are joining us unsubscribed, please, okay, Barrister Manta has rejoined us. again. Yeah, but yes, I was about just rounding up. But going back to what I was saying, I was talking about Obi. I hope you heard you heard all I said when he was the governor, right?
Yes, I know his record I know his record, and we have discussed.
Yeah, that's my point. Now, if I don't know if you heard where I said, okay, he did it in Anambra State, he could apply the same thing. Did you hear when I said that that Anambra State was at the time Obi took over became governor of Anambra State, Anambra was rated the most difficult state to govern.
I heard up to that.
Good, that is it. So, and if he was able to succeed on the most difficult state to govern as a governor, he succeeded. He could have, what we expected for him to do is to come and replicate that same principles. And that is just it. So I think since you had most of what I said, please go ahead and so that we can round up.
Just remember that just like when he was a governor, he was forced to act within the system. Remember that the House of Assembly impeached him.
Yes.
And he had to recover his mandate through the courts.
Yes.
So it comes back to what I was saying. If you want to work within the system, then you are bound by the prescriptions of the system. Except you are working from outside, then you have nothing binds you, nothing restricts you, nothing limits you. But once you have submitted yourself to the system, you are bound by the prescriptions of the system. He came into the political arena to contest within the laws that are here within the system. He contested and lost. And the legal regime is, if you lose, go to the tribunal. He went to the tribunal all the way to Supreme Court. At that point, there's pretty not much for him to do. He does not have to accept the judgment of the Supreme Court. But being the final court by our Constitution, there's no legal pathway for him to fight on that angle.
Barrister, sorry to cut you short. Sorry to cut you short. Look, my own problem is that Peter Obi missed it. So even before the Supreme Court something, he missed it. That's the problem. My problem is that he missed it from day one. Because when I expected him to act was when the INEC chairman came out and announced the result, 4 a.m. That is when I expected him to act and call his supporters peacefully, not my word, peacefully, call his supporters peacefully to go on the streets. I am telling you, Barrister, if he had done that, if the country had been that hot and tensed, the Supreme Court would have sat up. I'm telling you, because at that point, the international community would have intervened in the entire situation. Hence, the Supreme Court could have sat up. The thing is that the whole thing died down when everybody calmed down. So, okay, let us go to the court process. What did you expect when Tinubu and his cohort says, including INEC, says go to court? What did you expect? Of course, we expected that. So this issue of Supreme Court, I understand there's nothing you could have done, whatever, but that's whatever. But in my own judgment, he missed it from the onset. And even after the Supreme Court or whatever, he also missed it. Yes, Supreme Court or whatever. If I were him, I would still call out for protests. I'm telling you. Yes, you didn't do it in the past. It's already, the system, the whole situation is cold already. After that Supreme Court or whatever, I will still call out for peaceful protests. Look, do you know what Bola Tinubu did? We all knew what he did. This is the worst rigging we've ever experienced in the history of Nigeria. Koro, clear allotment of votes. Clear one, unambiguous. It was a daylight robbery. So that is just the point. We allow this to slide. It will slide again. If God permits us to get to that 2027, it will slide again. That's just the truth. Barrister. Anyway, thank you so very much. Thank you for your opinion and your analysis. Thank you for all you have contributed so far. And thank you once again for always being there for us, honoring us to be on our show. We appreciate you. We appreciate your expertise. We appreciate your instincts, your positive instincts and guidance. We appreciate all your suggestions and advices to everyone, especially the system. And viewers, that brings us to this brings us to the end of this show. If you have, you've listened to us, you've listened to me, you've listened to Barrister A.A. Manta, whom I hold in high esteem. I respect him so much. I respect his opinions on several issues. We have our agreement, we have our disagreements, we've had our disagreements over issues, but overall, I respect him so much. You've listened to him, you listened to me. What do you think? As an audience, as a fellow citizen of our wonderful nation, Nigeria, what do you think? What is your mind? Do you agree with me, or you disagree with me? Do you agree with Barrister Manta or disagree? Please make your comments known to us, make your opinion known to us. Send us message, and we will definitely respond. If there is anything you think Nigeria needs something different, you have a solution in mind, please express that. If you have any concern, express that. Just let's know your mind. We are all Nigerians. Let us help this country. Let us contribute our own quota and help this country become what it is supposed to, what it ought to be. Thank you once again for everyone. Once again, Barrister Manta, I thank you. Again, our viewers, this is, we've been speaking with Barrister Austin Manta, who is a legal practitioner of almost 4 decades of experience. When I say decades of experience, that is consistent. He does nothing other than he eats, he sleeps, and wakes up with law. So everything. So he is a very, very respected legal personality. So thank you so much, Barrister Manta. As we come to the end of this show again is JIBRIN Angle, and my name is JIBRIN. This is we are coming to you on Oweleketv TV. Once again, thank you for your audience. Thank you for your time, and see you again next time. Bye.